So tonight we're just going to paint this simple sky in watercolour. I'm going to be showing you how to go about doing that step by step. So we might as well get started. But just before we do, I'd just like to thank my patrons for all of their support. I really appreciate it. And of course you guys on YouTube and your subscription and your support too. So thanks very much guys, and we'll get painting. So tonight we're just going to paint a very simple sky in watercolour. These are the colours we're going to use, but you guys could use whatever colours you want, and you don't have to have bowls of wash. You could just squeeze out of a tube onto your desk or onto your palette the pigment out of the tube. So we're just going to wet the page. I'll just zoom in for you guys. All the colours and the brushes will be in the description below, okay? So just wetting the page. I'll just zoom in for you guys. So we're just going to come in with a little bit of Winsor yellow across here, a little bit down here. Let's brush out, then get a bit of cadmium yellow and just bring that in up here. And all I'll do with a damp hake brush is just blend that a bit with the Winsor yellow. And then I'm just going to get a bit of alizarin crimson, which is a pretty strong colour. We're just going to blend that down into there. And again, if I wanted to, I could rinse my hake out, and then I could come in with a damp hake and just blend a bit. It'll pick up a little bit of pigment, but also you could just start to just produce a few cloud formations in places, but not too much. And then we're just going to come in while it's still wet with a little bit of Paynes grey, so a little bit of dark up the top here. And this is where the brush just picking up a bit of that pigment is quite nice in a way. You start to get a variation in tone, so even though the top is pretty dark with the Paynes grey, you can start to pick up some of those pigments and it will vary the tone. Just rinse the brush out, flick it, and then we can start to pick up some pigments from somewhere and then just lay it down elsewhere, okay? We don't want to do too much of that, but that's probably enough for a very simple sky. And now we'll just dry that, okay? So now all we're going to do is come in with a little bit of Paynes grey as a dry brush, okay? So we'll just bring in the horizon, and then with making sure the brush is not too full of pigment, you can just come in and just scrape it over the top and leave some areas where there might be, you know, a little bit of water. And if you wanted to come in and strengthen some areas, then you could just pick up a little bit more pigment. And of course, if you wanted to add a bit of a subject in there, you know, on the horizon, then you could do that. You could just So anyway, you get the gist. Not a really great example of just randomly doing a bed of trees, but that's why it's probably good to sometimes have a bit more of a plan than that. Well, it's a little bit better. So, just went a bit random then. So this is how to paint a really simple sky in watercolour, you know, and to bring in some warms and then bring in some Payne's grey and then do some silhouetting and maybe have a bit of water catching some of that evening light. You know, it's very simple, but it's also pretty powerful as a landscape painting process. All nice and wet, and where we brought in the Windsor yellow, and then the cadmium yellow, and then the alizarin crimson, and then we brought in Payne's grey, Payne's grey, Payne's grey. Very, very simple. Not too many colours, and a very nice, simple landscape. So thanks for joining me tonight, guys. So thanks very much, guys, for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked this, then please press like, and if you'd like to know about future videos, then press the subscribe button and press the bell button, and then you'll hear all about when the next ones are published. So thanks very much. I appreciate all your support, and I'll see you next week. Good night.